You guessed it. Wednesday, March 16th. Ready for you. Ready for a new day. Ready for a new start. Ready for a fresh opportunity to succeed. It's time to get winning this morning. Would you mind sharing this with a friend? Bring them on in. Don't be afraid. The water's just fine. Holy smokes, we're after it fast this morning. Good morning. Coral Stadler, top of the morning. Mike Hoffman, hello, hello, hello. You guys are after it today. Woo! Hitting the road already. Well, I don't know if you're hitting the road, but good morning to you. I missed you. Yeah, I did. It's 100% true. Totally did. March 16th, 7:19 Central Standard Time. You know what time it is? You know what time it is. It's time to get winning. That's right. Winning right here this morning. Good to see you, friends. Good to see you. Bright and shiny first thing right here today. No fear here. Like none. You know why? Because we're getting after it. We're just killing it today. If you haven't done it, do me a favor, please, if you don't mind. Go ahead, do that little guy. Subscribe, hit the bell, like it, share it, get the notifications when we're going live. Yesterday, Coral, actually, it was a comment somewhere. I'm not sure what day it was. Coral said, oh my gosh, I didn't get the notification you were live. It was bad. Coral, I appreciate that. Oh, we appreciate it. We truly, really do. You know, today, I don't know if you can tell by the topic or by the thumbnail that was on earlier right there on the front, but we are very, very quickly approaching a dangerous topic. Dangerous. Warning. It's danger. People get fearful. You start talking about things that are a little bit different. They get fearful or they don't like it for a couple of reasons. Today we're talking about the danger of different. Yeah, the danger of different. Now, I can tell you right now, there's probably multiple stories that you have. I mean, multiple testimonies, multiple times where you've said to yourself, you know, I don't know if I want to go ahead and stand out. You know why? Because there's a lot more comfort in staying right where I'm at. There's not chaos out there by doing something different. I don't have to be afraid of stepping out and being myself if I just stay here and do what I've always done and keep on doing what I'm doing. You're right. There is no danger in being different. Wrong. There's a lot of danger in being different. There's a lot of danger in stepping out and doing something completely non-standard. There's a lot of danger in it, but there's also a lot of opportunity. So that is what we're diving into specifically today. You know, there's if you look back, you know me, I'm a big history guy, big science guy. Before I even do that, before I even dive into that, I'll tell you, if you have a story, if you have something where you're saying, you know, I've had a moment where I stepped out and it was kind of scary and I didn't really necessarily want to do it, but it really started changing my life. Would you throw it in the comment section if you can? If you're driving, don't do that. But if you're not driving, you're just sitting on your little cup of joe or maybe having your morning pre-workout. If that's what you're doing. So good. If that's what, would you mind throwing that in the comment section? Just throw it in there. Let me know. Yeah, I stepped out. I started doing something different and it was scary. It was totally scary. But this was the result because there's so many times where we hesitate to step out into something that has been in our mind, in our heart that we've wanted to do because the comfort that we have, the comfort of normalcy, the comfort in staying in the same place, doing the same thing is very warming. It really is. In fact, the chance that you are going to step out and do something completely just out of the norm, unless you are go-oriented, or unless you are a little bit, you are prone to go and just try something completely out of the normal. Sometimes we call these people adrenaline junkies. I don't think they're adrenaline junkies per se. No, but again, nobody asked me if I thought that they were. But sometimes people look at them and say, yeah, gosh, those people are just, they're after adrenaline. Like, that's what they do. They always go out, they're skydiving, they're bungee jumping, they're going after all of these things. And they're just doing so many things to be able to get that high of the moment. It's not necessarily that. But one of the things is I've gone through helping people and organizations and different things is there are those who are willing to take risk. This is really what it comes down to. The reality of accepting the idea of doing something different really comes down to your willingness to accept risk. And the reason why people don't accept risk, the reason why sometimes we think, I don't know that I'm going to do that. In fact, I'm not really interested in taking a risk at all. I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I'm interested in doing that, is because of the unknown. Oftentimes, the unknown scares us. The unknown, we don't know what the outcome is. We have no idea. We can guess, we can speculate, we can hypothesize, we can come up with different models that show us a probability of success if we do something like that, but that there is no guarantee. There is no promise that that's going to work out. There's no promise that that's going to happen. So stepping into a situation that is unknown, it's not that being different is scary or that we are averse to doing something different as our human nature and our psychology and as we think about things. But the reality is we search for a place of homeostasis. We search for this place of belonging, of consistency. That's what we search for. We as humans, as people, we look for this place where a place that we can find home. You know what I mean? You ever been traveling a lot? You've been on the road a ton. Maybe you're on vacation. And it's about day 5. And you're like, you know what? My bed sounds really good right about now. I said this one time. I was like, oh, man, I'm kind of looking forward to go home. We're on vacation. I don't know. We're in Mexico or somewhere. On vacation. And Brooke looked at me. She was like, are you serious? We were sitting on a beach, and they're bringing Mai Tais. And they're bringing Bahama Mamas. We're just sitting here, and you want to go home? I was like, it's not that I want to go home. It's just, there's a certain comfort to home. But how true is this? There's a certain comfort to what it is that we know, to the place where we have been. And this is why we talk about there is danger in being different, is because when we make the choice to step out of what we have known, and we make the choice to step into something that is drastically different, and we make the choice to do something that goes against the grain of normalcy, you are pushing yourself out into a place that is risky. And oftentimes risk can mean one of two things. It can mean a complete departure from everything that is comfortable, which we know that, into failure or success. That's really what it summarizes down to, is oftentimes we don't want to take that step outside of what we know and the comfort of what we know, because we don't know what's out there. We don't know what's on the other side. Why leave the comfort and the gates of the city to go out there into the wilderness when I don't know what's out there, and I don't know if it's going to be friendly, and frankly, I don't know if it's going to kill me or eat me or turn me into a handbag. Yeah, I don't know why I would leave the comfort of this situation. So we don't. But my friends, here's the thing we need to realize today. And this is the thing what I would encourage you this week, right now, this beautiful Wednesday, the 16th of March at 7:27. I would encourage you with this, to think about this, is if all you ever know is the comfort of what you have already created or what has already been encouraged of you and what has already been not given to you. I believe we all work and get there. We get to a place we are constantly working and striving to do better. I really truly believe that. It's not like things are handed to us. Laura, hello, look at that. Laura Gentile says it takes work. Yes, it takes work. 100%. It takes work. And I'm not saying that we don't strive to do we're not striving to do something different. But I'm telling you, this is when people ask me, why would you even consider doing something different? Why don't you stay in that job for the 20 years? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It's not that I don't want to. It's not that I don't desire to. It's not that I don't like my job. I'm not, this isn't a pre-warning. It's not like I'm leaving my job or anything with the Air Force. But what I am saying is that if I'm afraid to look to the outside, if I'm afraid to look at something differently and ask myself, is there a possibility that what I was made to do is actually better fit or better suited for that thing, even if I don't know what that looks like? If I never assess the possibility, then I will only stay in this place of comfort. And the place of comfort oftentimes will always get us known results. If you're fine with those results of what you're currently seeing, then there is no problem. If you're in the place where you're connected to your passion, you know that you have a purpose, you're driven, you're loving it, you're just all after it. If you're in that place of fulfillment that you hear me talk about all the time, connecting your passion for a purpose, connecting people to their passion for a purpose, to get connected to that real fulfillment, that God kind of fulfillment. If you're already in that place, listen, there's no issue. That's awesome. You are operating 100%. But for the vast majority of us, there is a discontent in some area of our life. And this is normally where I start talking about the 5 Bs: your body, your brain, the bonds that you have, which is relationship, in business, maybe in your job, your career, and in banking or finances. Normally in one of those areas, of the people that I talk to, of the businesses that I talk to, there is a crunch point, there is a pain point in one of these areas, if not only one of these areas. At times, there are crunch points in like 3 or 4 of these areas. And what I mean by crunch points is that you're not happy. You're looking at one of these areas and saying, I'm not digging this. I'm not necessarily loving this. And you know what? Realizing that is totally okay. It doesn't mean that you're selfish. It doesn't mean that you're not content. It doesn't mean that you don't enjoy anything about your life. It doesn't mean that. It just, oftentimes a feeling of discontent doesn't mean that you are in a terrible place. What it means is that there's actually a desire for more, or there's actually a desire for something else, and not just something else, but maybe it's a desire because you realize the purpose that you have in you and the drive that you have in you and the passion. Maybe it's just that you realize that you have more to offer, and the current situation isn't allowing you to capitalize on that. So what keeps us there? I mean, this is what it is. Friends, I just want to be clear for a second. I'm not asking you or trying to convince you or tell you, oh, you need to quit your job. You need to stop this. You need to leave. That's not what I'm saying. But just as the title talked about, the danger of different, the reason why there is danger in being different is because most of the time, here's the bombshell statement, most of the time, most of the people that I talk to, most of the people that I coach, most of the businesses that we help, most of the organizations that we pour into have focused more on getting to a place of success, and they have never taken the time to stop and evaluate where they actually should be and what they actually should be doing. You hear me refer to these books all the time. I wish I could reach over and grab my book, Start With Why, by Simon Sinek. I wish I could reach over and grab it right now, but my shelf is literally empty right now because we're getting ready to move to our new house. Exciting. Yeah, it is exciting. And it's totally chaotic. And it's different. And it's dangerous. And it's scary, I'll tell you. I wish I could reach over and grab the book. But one of the things that Simon Sinek talks about in that book, because you'll hear me talk about him often, not that he's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But there's some ideas that I really, really like and appreciate about him. One of the things he talks about often is the comparison between this example that he went to a Microsoft conference, and again, nothing against Microsoft. If you work for Microsoft, great. If you like Microsoft, great. But he went to a Microsoft conference, and he was very intrigued and interested because the majority of their focus at this Microsoft conference, we're talking about the company Microsoft, not just trying to sell a product. We're talking, this is kind of like an internal meeting to the employees, the people, the business, the workers of Microsoft. The main focus of that meeting, of that conference, that convention for their workers was, this is how we're going to beat Apple. And everything that they focus on was, hey, this product is better than Apple. This product is, we're going to take them in the market, and we're going to beat them here, and we're going to have a better product. And we're going to do this, and we're going to get after it. And he was consistently focused on the competitor that was doing something different. They were comparing themselves to that entity. And later he had the chance to go to Apple and speak with Apple. He was very excited about it, to encourage at Apple conference. He went there, and when he had left Microsoft, they had given him a Zune. Do you remember that? It was like an MP3. It was like an MP3 music player or something like that. And he had compared it, and he's like, I mean, really, the Zune was really nice. In fact, it functioned incredibly well. So he had this Zune, and he was with one of the Apple executives. They'd just gotten done speaking. They were getting in the limo, headed back to the hotel, and he was talking to him, and he asked him just out of curiosity. He's like, Microsoft, when I was there, they gave me this Zune, which was like podcasting or a audio player at the time. They gave me this Zune, and they really think that it's a better product. And the executive sat there. He said, "That's really interesting." And he didn't go into it. He didn't dive into it. The executive didn't. As I'm standing base, because I was really shocked because he didn't really have anything else to say. I mean, he's just kind of like, interesting. I had a friend who said, "That's interesting, but not compelling." Lee Gentile, greatest mentor ever, awesome guy. Laura, if you're still listening, yes, love it. He said, "This is interesting, but not compelling." So the executive didn't say anything at all, and Simon Sinek was like, "Oh my gosh, like, why does he not care? He doesn't care anything about it." Later, as you read through that chapter, you come to this revelation that Apple is not focused on beating Microsoft. Apple is focused on being the best version of themselves and creating a great product for the customers and the people that they serve. They are not concerning themselves with the efforts of the competitors. They're concerning themselves with truly just making a better product. They're focusing not on the roar of the crowds, of what the crowds are demanding and what everybody else is demanding and what everybody else is saying. They're focusing strictly on what is before them and the purpose that they have and what they're developing. Why am I saying this to you today? Why am I bringing up Apple and Microsoft and how Microsoft is constantly competing with Apple and Apple is only competing with itself? Why do I bring that up with when we're talking about that it's dangerous to be different? This is why. I'll tell you, summarize it. If all you're doing is comparing yourself, if all you're doing is in the place that you're staying is in the place that is comfortable for you, or that it is only focused on what other people are telling you to do, then you're only going to get the results of what they have already gotten, and you're only going to be as good as what you are focusing upon. It is dangerous. It is risky and dangerous to step completely out of the mold and to do something totally different. It is dangerous to not focus on what other people are telling you, but instead to focus on what's in here and what's in here. It can be dangerous because there is sometimes nowhere else to compare. You have no other example to follow. You have no other way to be led or a model to follow. But this is the difference between Microsoft and Apple. Apple was willing to be bold and step out and create something different. I mean, this is one of the main statements that Apple always used to have. Think different. What does that even mean? How is that even a marketing statement? Think different. That's what they would focus on. Not beat Microsoft. It was think different. Different means dangerous. It means you can potentially completely fail at what you're doing, or you could completely succeed. And going back to the statement before, that's interesting but not compelling. It's interesting that Microsoft was focused holistically on Apple, but it was not compelling enough for Apple to do anything about it. Why? Because the priority and the focus of what Apple's doing was focusing on their skill, their ability, their talent to develop and create the greatest experience for the focus area that they had, which was their customer. Today, I ask you this, as we step into just an awesome rest of our week. Maybe you're on spring break. Maybe you're not on spring break. Maybe you're getting ready for work. Maybe your kids are getting ready for work. I don't know. But whatever you're stepping into, I need you to realize this and think about this, is if you are in this place of comfort, but there is something stirring inside, and you don't do anything about it, and you just stay in this mold of comfort of where you have been. I'm not saying there's anything bad of being in a comfortable place. What I am saying is the actual dangerous thing is to silence those drives that you have to be the best version of yourself. What's actually dangerous is to have that dream in your head and to have that drive in your heart and to tell yourself, it's too risky to step out. It's too risky to do that. Kinsley, it's too risky to start a business in this culture. It's too risky to start a business in this. I'll start it in 3 years when the economy is doing better. Okay, that's fine. You know what's going to happen in 3 years? You're not going to start the business then either. You know why? Because there's going to be some other excuse. It's because it is more comfortable to stay in this place that we've always been, doing what is more natural to us because we know how to do it. It's easier to stay there than it is to step out and do something completely and totally different. You know what's actually terrifying is making financial commitments in an area that is new to you and not having ever been there before, especially in a climate like this. But this is also one of it's times like these where it is the greatest opportunity to have the greatest amount of growth ever in your life. Several years ago, we'll kind of wrap up with this. My chair was sinking down. Several years ago, it was, I think it was 2000. Remember when we had that massive market crash? There was a lot of people who looked at the market crash. They were like, oh my gosh, I should pull everything out of my stocks and save the money. I was celebrating. You know why I was celebrating? I'm not happy that people are losing money. But the truth is you're not losing money unless you run like a little scaredy cat and pull it out of the market. I know this because I did it in 2008. I saw things tanking. I was like, I need to pull my money out. Dumbest thing I ever did. Lost so much money in 2008 because I was influenced by the people that were around me and what they were doing. And they said it was going to get worse. You need to pull it out and you just need to save that little cash egg you have, that little comfort egg. So like a fool, I pulled it out and there was a lot of loss because it had already gone down a ton. I was moved by the comfort of what the other people around me were doing and saying, you know what would have been different is to buy even more when the market went down. And when things tanked, pour even more money into it. You know why? Because you're getting a higher portion when you buy it at a lower price. So a couple years ago, having learned that lesson in 2008 and having lost a lot of money by being stupid, I have no problem telling you when I make mistakes. By having learned that in 2008, went into 2020 when it happened again, and there was this massive dip in the market. Personally, I started almost celebrating because I thought this is the moment I've been waiting for. I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I'm not going to do what everybody else has told me to do. I know it's dangerous to be different. I know it may seem foolish to dump money into something that is a sinking ship or appears to be a sinking ship, but you know what? This ship isn't sinking. This is an opportunity to step out, to do something different, and it's going to seem dangerous, but it's also going to get you results that you've never gotten before. And because I did that, the last couple of years have been the most profitable years we've ever had, because we did something that was completely antithetical to what the normal middle of the road was telling us. If you are willing to do something if you're willing to step out and do something a little bit dangerous, a little bit different, to focus on in a manner which for some people is not going to make sense. If you're willing to step out and do something, I'm telling you, if you assess what that risk is and you're smart about it, sometimes those are the greatest payouts you can ever have. And I'm not just talking about financial payouts. I'm talking about fulfillment, fulfillment payouts. There have been many people I know that have left the comfort of something they have known for 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30 years. But they said, you know what? Enough is enough. I've had this in my mind for 20 years. I've had it in my heart for 20 years. I knew I was supposed to do this. I'm going to step out. I'm going to go after it. And they went after it. And it was not very long until they started saying and realizing, my gosh, I don't even know how I didn't do this earlier. I wish I would have started with this earlier because it has brought so much fulfillment. This is not at all been as scary as I thought it was going to be. Your fears will keep you away from what your future has for you if you allow it to, and you allow it to stay at there. Again, Laura, you're just killing it today. Be bold. Take smart risk. That's right. I agree with you, Laura. You're just going to have to take over the show tomorrow. You're going to have to take it over Friday because you're just totally killing it. Taking smart risks. Be bold. Don't stay in the same place that you've been. I'm not saying that the place that you have been is bad. I can only speak for myself. If you're not, I know I say that I've said this many, many times, but if you're not growing, if you're not in the active process of growing, of learning, you are in the active process of decay and dying. It is a fact. Every day you live is one day farther away from your birthday, and one day farther away from the day you were born, and one day closer to the day that you were going to depart this world. So why continue to wait? Why continue to stay in this, what is right now, what feels good in this moment, what feels good in this opportunity, what feels good in this second of, you know what, this is a lot more logical, this is a lot more comfortable. My sister, hello, meine Schwester, Mindy, hello, top of the morning. What seems good or feels good right now does not mean it's going to be the best for you in the future at all. But it may be more comfortable. It'll probably actually be a lot more comfortable. It'll seem like it's a lot smarter. It'll seem like it's a lot more logical. It'll seem like it's probably a good idea. It is dangerous to be different. But you were not made to be a copy of anybody else. You were made to be the original that you are. You were made literally to be different. If we weren't supposed to be different, then we would all have similar DNA. We'd all have the same look. We don't. And I close with this morning. I launch you out this morning with this final little tidbit. Is if you continue to emulate and follow what other people have done, then yeah, you will have most likely the success of what they've done. But I would venture to guess that you see things different. That you see things in a different light. You know what I would venture to guess at is because you have different experiences than they have. You have lived different life than they have lived. You have seen and felt and known and learned things from a different perspective than they have learned it. And you know what that makes you? That makes you a gosh darn original. That makes you totally different. That gives you a different perspective. It gives you a different mindset. It gives you a different drive than the people who have formerly succeeded in. You have a different perspective. You have a different ability. You were made to be different. Why would you spend your time trying to be like somebody else? Don't be like anybody else, for crying out loud. If I tried to be like anybody else, I'd probably be sitting here talking about something incredibly philosophically and academically important to you. No, I'm a nut job. I got no problem telling you that. I got no problem being it because you know why? I know who I am. The question is, today, do you know who you are? Are you going to take the time to find out, to figure it out, to write it down, and to launch out into what you were made to do, not what other people are doing? What were you made to do today? Doing it a different way. Yeah, it's dangerous, but we love danger. We're not afraid of it. It's a little bit risky. Calculate the risk. Figure it out. Once you know the risk, it's not as scary. Just get out there and do it. Just get out there and do it, Tiger. There's no reason not to. No reason not to get after it. For real. Today, you need to do exactly that. My friends, my family, we're going to get out there and launch and just crush another day. Absolutely. It's time to do it. One more time. Get out there. We'll see you on Friday. Don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid. It's dangerous. It seems strange. As Mindy says, let's go this morning. And let's get winning. Sister, you have a great day. Lord Gentile, you have a great day. If you don't mind, share this with your friends. Share this with your family. Let them be encouraged just like you're encouraged because, you know, we need it. We could use a little encouragement today. So get after it. Here we go, friends. Let's go. Let's get it. Do that little thing right there. Subscribe if you haven't done it. It's dangerous, but you know what? We're not afraid to be different. So let's do it. Have a great, great, great great Wednesday. We'll see you.